How marketers manipulate you, 8 triggers that make you buy. Introduction: the most studied mind in history is yours. No psyche in human history has been studied with more money, talent, and precision than the mind of the modern consumer, yours. Entire scientific disciplines exist for it: consumer psychology, behavioral economics, neuromarketing. A/B tests run on you millions of times a day, refining which shade of red, which countdown timer, which phrasing of "only 3 left" extracts one more click. The people designing your shopping environment know the findings of Kahneman, Cialdini, and 50 years of persuasion research the way engineers know load tolerances, because to them, that is exactly what your decision-making is, a structure with known load tolerances. Let's be fair before we begin: marketing is not inherently sinister. Informing people that useful things exist is honest work, and much advertising is exactly that. The line this article walks is the one between informing your judgment and bypassing it, between giving you reasons and pressing your buttons. The 8 triggers below live on the button side. Each exploits a genuine feature of human cognition, a shortcut that served your ancestors well and serves conversion funnels better. For each, we'll open the mechanism, show the modern deployment, and hand you the countermove, because the research cuts both ways. The same literature that teaches marketers to press the buttons teaches you where the buttons are. Trigger 1, scarcity: only 2 left in stock. The mechanism is loss aversion, one of behavioral economics' bedrock findings. Losses loom roughly twice as large as equivalent gains in human motivation. We are not built to maximize, we are built to not miss out. Scarcity signals convert a neutral purchase decision into a threatened loss, and threatened brains stop deliberating and start grabbing. The deployment is everywhere and, crucially, often synthetic. Only 2 left, counters that mysteriously replenish. Sale ends tonight, timers that reset at midnight, every midnight. 17 people are viewing this room, widgets, a number some booking platforms have been fined for gaming. Limited editions manufactured in unlimited waves. The scarcity is frequently a render, not an inventory report. The countermove: treat urgency itself as information, about the seller. Adopt one rule: the more pressure to decide now, the longer my mandatory waiting period. Genuine bargains survive 24 hours far more often than sellers admit, and if this one truly doesn't, its disappearance costs you almost nothing, because a near-identical deal is nearly always next week. The fear of missing out is real, the thing being missed usually isn't. Trigger 2, social proof, bestseller. 4.8 stars. Everyone's buying it. The mechanism: when uncertain, humans outsource judgment to the herd, a magnificent shortcut for our ancestors. The mushroom everyone eats is probably safe, and a hijackable one for us. Cialdini ranked social proof among the most powerful levers in the persuasion arsenal, and commerce agrees. Reviews now influence the overwhelming majority of online purchases. The deployment has become an industry of manufactured herds: purchase reviews, incentivized ratings, bestseller, badges awarded within microcategories invented for the badge, influencer, authenticity, priced per post, follower counts inflated by bots. Even honest platforms tilt the field. The products shown first are often those that paid to be first, wearing popularity that placement itself then generates. The countermove: read the herd skeptically and specifically. Sort by critical reviews first. Fakes cluster at 5 stars and vague praise. Truth lives in detailed 3-star reviews describing actual use. Distrust round superlatives: best ever, trust boring specifics, zipper failed at month 4. And separate the 2 questions the trigger fuses: do many people buy this, and does this fit my need? The herd has never once known your use case. Trigger 3, anchoring, the crossed out price. The mechanism is among the most robust in all of psychology. The first number you see becomes the reference point against which everything after is judged, even when the number is arbitrary, even when you know it's arbitrary. Kahneman and Tversky demonstrated that anchors drag estimates powerfully. Retail turned the finding into its favorite pricing structure. The deployment: the crossed out was $299, now $89, where the item never sold at $299 a day in its life, a practice regulators periodically fine and retailers perpetually resume. The decoy menu, a $95 option existing solely to make $49 feel modest. The luxury item at the store entrance whose job is not to sell but to anchor, rendering everything behind it reasonable. Subscription tiers where the middle option is engineered to be chosen by making its neighbors absurd. The countermove, never evaluate a price against the seller-supplied comparison, that comparison was built for you, like a stage set. Re-anchor yourself, check the price history, tracking tools exist for exactly this, check competitors, and above all price it in your own currency, hours of your work, or what else that money buys. Discounted from a fiction, is not a discount. It is a frame, and frames only work on the unframed. Trigger 4, Reciprocity, the free sample with a hook inside. The mechanism, humans are obligation-keeping machines. A gift received creates a debt felt, across every culture studied, and the debt seeks discharge even when the gift was unrequested, tiny, or strategic. Cialdini documented the asymmetry that makes it exploitable. Small favors reliably extract disproportionately larger returns. The deployment, the free sample that makes walking away feel faintly rude. The free consultation, whose real product is your indebtedness. Free trials that harvest your card number and bet on your inertia. Content marketing's free value ladder, ascending gently toward the pitch. The charity's unsolicited address labels arriving with the donation envelope. None of it is generosity, all of it is the purchase of a feeling, yours, at wholesale prices. The countermove, consciously decouple gratitude from purchase. Take the sample, enjoy it, and let your acquiring decision run on its own track. Thanks, is full repayment for marketing outreach. You owe precisely nothing further, because the giver was not giving, the giver was investing, and investments carry risk by definition. Say the sentence to yourself in the store, literally, the cheese was nice. The cheese is not a contract. Trigger 5, Authority and its costumes, 9 out of 10 experts. The mechanism, deference to expertise is another excellent shortcut. You cannot personally verify everything, so you trust credentials. The vulnerability is that the deference responds to the costume of authority, not its substance, titles, white coats, jargon, certificates, studio lighting. The deployment, actors in lab coats, clinically proven, which clinic? Proven what? 9 out of 10 dentists recommend, surveyed how, paid by whom, recommending versus what alternative, scientific-sounding proprietary ingredients, as seen in logos purchased as advertorials, and the era's dominant form, the influencer, whose authority is parasocial intimacy rather than expertise, rented per post to whatever pays. The countermove, interrogate the costume with 3 questions. Is this authority an expert in this specific domain? Is the claim checkable? Does the study exist, with methods, or only in the voiceover? And what is the endorser paid? Genuine expertise survives the questions comfortably, costumes dissolve in them. A halo, remember, is a lighting effect. Trigger 6, the pain-pleasure sequence, manufactured problems, sold solutions. The mechanism, purchases are driven less by desire for products than by desire to escape states, insecurity, fear, inadequacy, boredom. Marketers learned early that where no sufficiently painful state exists, one can be installed and then relieved, agitate, then solve. Entire product categories, many hygiene necessities, cosmetic flaws, status anxieties, were preceded by campaigns teaching the public to feel a deficiency the product would then cure. The deployment today is precision agitation, ads that name your fear back to you, still renting at 35, before and after grammar applied to bodies, homes, and lives, wellness marketing that pathologizes normal existence, your tiredness is toxins, your ordinary skin is a barrier crisis, and then retails the remedy. Social feeds intensify the loop, the same platform that manufactures the inadequacy sells the ad against it. The countermove, when a product's pitch made you feel worse before promising better, name the sequence, that dip was engineered. Ask the diagnostic question, did this problem exist for me before this ad taught me its name? A real need predates its solutions marketing. A manufactured one is born inside it and dies, harmlessly, the moment you decline the diagnosis. Trigger 7, Commitment Ladders, the foot in your wallet's door. The mechanism, consistency. Humans strain to act in line with prior actions, each small step makes the next feel like, who I already am. Persuasion research calls it foot in the door, commerce calls it a funnel. The deployment, the free quiz that becomes an email that becomes a webinar that becomes a founding member discount. The $1 trial that knows your inertia's actuarial tables better than you do. Loyalty programs converting shopping into a game you're already winning, sunk points functioning as sunk costs. Configurators that have you customize the car before you've decided to buy one, because a thing you've personalized is a thing you already faintly own. Each rung trivial, the ladder, expensive. The countermove, audit ladders as ladders. Before each small yes, ask what it's a step toward, and reserve the right, say it aloud if needed, to be gloriously inconsistent. I took the quiz, enjoyed the trial, and I'm out. Consistency is a virtue in ethics. In funnels, it's the product being harvested. Trigger 8, Frictionless design, the disappearing decision. The final trigger is the quietest, the systematic removal of every pause in which deliberation might occur. One-click ordering. Saved cards. Auto-renewing subscriptions engineered to be joined in one tap and left through a labyrinth, a pattern regulators now literally call dark patterns. Infinite scroll past shoppable posts. Buy now pay later slicing prices into painless installments, because research is clear that paying hurts, and payment that doesn't hurt doesn't inform. The mechanism being exploited is the simplest of all, decisions require moments, and moments can be designed out. The countermove is to reinstall friction deliberately, on your side of the glass. Remove saved cards where temptation lives. Impose the cart sleep rule, anything non-essential waits overnight in the cart. Retailers know abandoned carts mostly stay abandoned, which tells you whose interest the seamlessness served. Calendar audit subscriptions quarterly. Friction is not inefficiency. Friction is where your judgment lives, and its removal was never a favor. Conclusion, the buyer with the lights on. 8 triggers, scarcity, social proof, anchors, reciprocity, authority costumes, manufactured pain, commitment ladders, and engineered frictionlessness. Note what they share, not one of them argues that the product is good. Each instead reaches past the product entirely, toward a permanent feature of your cognition, and squeezes. That is the honest definition of the line this article promised to draw. Persuasion gives your judgment material, manipulation routes around your judgment altogether. The tell, forever, is pressure without information. And note what the countermoves share, almost all of them are simply pauses with questions inside. Would I want this next Tuesday? Did this problem exist before its advertisement? What is the endorser paid? What is this small yes a step toward? None requires ascetic willpower or contempt for shopping. Buy things, enjoy things. Commerce at its best is a genuine pleasure. The only revolution on offer here is smaller and better, the restoration of a half-second of ownership between the trigger and your hand. Billions of dollars have been spent to delete that half-second. Reclaiming it, knowing your own buttons well enough to notice fingers on them, is the entire game, and it turns out to be a game the informed buyer, unlike the studied one, gets to win.